Hello, I'm Nathan Judo. I'm here with Wolves reporter Mr. Liam Keane. Liam, we've just heard from June Lopetegui ahead of the big match against Everton on Saturday. Look, I say big match. I know Wolves are safe, but at the same time, there's still plenty to play for, isn't there?
It's a massive game for Everton, isn't it?
Massive game for them.
As we said on the podcast, well, we've reiterated for the last month or 2 months. My God, I hope Wolves don't have to rely on this fixture for
can you
a result.
imagine?
So it's nice to come into this game knowing Wolves don't really have to do anything, but what they do have to do is send the fans away into the summer happy. I think that's a really important point because there's lots of players that, future's up in the air, they've got things to play for, but the fans who have stuck by the team all year in what has been obviously a terrible season overall, they now deserve hopefully some sort of nice send-off for the last home game, and it'll be an opportunity for some players to probably say goodbye to the Molyneux crowd.
Look, the home performances have been great, especially recently. They've been superb, but at the same time, players have got to start stepping up, don't they? Because you look at the Manchester United game, and if you have a repeat of that, if they just turn up, they're going to get beat. It's as simple as. Everton have just gone to Brighton and won 5-1. So if they do that, they will get beaten, they get well beaten. That's not the type of send-off that June Lopetegui and these players will want to give to the fans who have been there through thick and thin this season. No shots on target against Old Trafford. You're not going to score many goals, are you?
No.
So what do you do, and how does he play in terms of team selection? Does he play the same lads who went and got beat 2-0, or do you give some of these players who we think we might not be seeing or might be seeing at Molyneux for the last time a chance to say goodbye either from the start or from the bench?
Well, we spoke to Lopetegui in the press conference before the United game and said, look, you've got 3 games to go, you're safe. Will you allow sentiment to creep in your team selections? And he was very adamant to say no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
What he did say is he'll give some players a chance, and what he meant by that is your likes of Dan Bentley, who came in, did very well. The likes of maybe Boubacar Traoré, we might see in the next 2 games. Okay. The kind of players that have probably got a future with Wolves, but the ones that are probably on their way out, it sounds like they won't get an opportunity. Saying that, he then brought Raul back into the squad at United and gave him half an hour. So it's difficult to second guess the manager, first of all. But I do think he'll try and find some sort of balance between those 2 conundrums, really, but leaning more towards just trying to win the game. I think that's in his nature. He wants to send the Wolves fans away happy going into the summer. And look, maybe a Jan Moutinho, who's obviously been in the squad majority of the games aside from United, I suspect he might have a role to play.
I'd be stunned if he doesn't get at least a bench.
I think so. And there'll be a couple others that maybe they will. But I find it hard to believe that we're going to see 4 or 5 players come out from the cold all of a sudden into the squad, whether that's the 11 or the bench. And it's a really tough decision for the manager to make.
Dan Bentley was clearly Wolves' man of the match last Saturday. He said he's made a decision already about the keeper. What do you expect?
50-50.
Whatever you say is the other way.
Flip a coin. Whatever I say is definitely not the right answer. Well, obviously, in true Lopetegui style, he refused to say which goalkeeper he's going to play, but he said, I've made my decision, one of them will play. That's about all we've got. He did say a good goalkeeper will play, so that's very nice for whoever it is to start.
Yes, absolutely.
Your suggestion, which for once I like and agree with, is the Bentley.
Sticking to game 37, but we'll take it.
Whatever. Bentley will get his opportunity to play at Molyneux, and then Sarr will come in for Arsenal. I'm going to go ahead and stick with that because if it's wrong, we'll blame you.
Okay, that sounds good. Look, a couple of players I want to speak about. First of all, Conor Coady, who will be coming back to Molyneux. Of course, is an Everton player. Was asked in the press conference about. Look, I think if he was available to play, he still wouldn't be playing. He's obviously missing out at the moment. He must be quite frustrated the way things have worked out, but he will be there. Well, I'm certain he'll be there. Asked about next season and whether Lopetegui had a role for him. What did he say?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because you say coming back to Molyneux, of course he is for the game. We expect him to be in attendance watching on, but whether he comes back in the summer and plays for Wolves again is a massive, massive question mark. Look, Everton have obviously got the option. I don't expect them to take it purely based on how he's been used since Dyche came in. He came off the bench against City the other day, but I believe that was his first game since sort of mid-Feb. So very sparsely used in the last few months. It'd be a surprise if they do take that option on him.
Even if they stay up or go down.
Exactly. And Wolves have got a big decision to make. But Lopetegui, it's a weird one because he wanted leadership, Premier League experience, an English influence in the dressing room when he arrived here. He got that with some of the players he brought in. Coady offers all of that.
Yes.
Does he offer what you want in a player that's going to play every single week? That depends on the style Lopetegui wants to adopt next season. Coady wants to play, regardless of where he is, and that for me will probably be the biggest question mark.
Factor.
Will Lopetegui like him to be in and around the team? I'd be surprised if he said no. But will Coady want to play? Yes. And will he get a chance to play here every week? I'd be surprised. So that for me will be the biggest question mark. I suspect he'll come back and probably go to pre-season if he hasn't got a move before that, and then the big decision to make after that.
Yeah, and look, you talk about creating transfer funds, however little that may be with Conor Coady having a year left, but you know, if you're a Burnley or Sheffield United or someone who want to have someone who's experienced, who's an England international, who's got Premier League experience, who's been a captain of a club, who's great around the dressing room, for me, I'd be looking, I think there'd be a plethora of clubs looking at Conor Coady as someone they want to bring in. So yeah, that's one obviously, of course, for the end of the season and going into next. The other person, Ryan Giles, who departed last night devastatingly for Middlesbrough. It's fine. Wolves say we. And obviously he's available now. Not available for selection, of course, he's still on loan, but Julian Lopetegui asked about him next season. You know, he's now going to return to Wolves, and whether they might see him or have a future for him. Did it look good for him or not?
Well, we don't know. So there's some I can say and some I can't, because there's something that's embargoed. I'm sure fans can appreciate the embargo. I will have a story out with a bit more on Giles in the next coming days, next 2 days or so. But he was asked in the broadcast section, which of course we can talk about now. That isn't embargoed, and he was very non-committal. Not really a surprise, to be honest. But he said, look, you know, we've got so many players on loan, we need to have a look at, assess our options, was I think the phrase he used.
As a collective term.
As a collective term, not really talking about Giles. So it's up in the air.
Yeah.
I think my personal opinion is it's probably stick or twist time now with him. It's the phrase I keep using because he's 23. He's had some really, really good loans. He's sort of, you know, team of the season, championship level loans, incredible number of assists. And it's probably time for Wolves to either integrate him or sell him, because his stock will probably never be higher than it is right now under the contract he's got currently at Wolves. Will probably never be higher. You can get a decent fee for him now, or if, for example, Aït-Nouri moves on, which is a possibility in the summer, Giles has an option to fill that gap. The problem is you're bringing in a player in Giles who, yes, is a very good, well-rounded player, but defensively is not. There's question marks over his standard defensively, particularly at Premier League level, which is similar to Aït-Nouri. He's very good going forward, questionable in defence. So are you doing like for like there? Is it something that Wolves want to do? So there's a lot of question marks over him as well. For my money, I said this on the podcast as well, I would give him a chance. I think he's a good player, young, hungry, which we know is exactly what Wolves want. English, which I think is going to help for their quota in terms of, you know, a number of foreign players allowed in the squad. I think he would bring a lot to the Wolves team, but you know, it's a decision for Lopetegui to make.
This is probably the hardest question I'm going to ask you this season, so I don't expect you to get it right at all. Team for Saturday? Because it could be. I mean, you could throw them all up and just pick 11 names, couldn't you? Very difficult to know what he's going to go with. But what would, if you were Lopetegui, if you're on Lopetegui's head, if you're that little midget crawling around in his brain, and you've just gone to the little pink bit which says team, what's it say?
Do you have to say midget? There's no.
Well, you've got to get into his brain. You've got to small. You've got to shrink. You've got to go through the ear and into that little bit of brain.
Okay.
Where are you going?
I'm going to go for it.
Here we go. See how many he gets right. Remember this, and then tweet him when the teams come out.
And it'll
2 o'clock on Saturday.
It'll definitely be wrong, by the way. I'm going to say 4-4-2. I'm going to say 6 with that. I'm going to say Bentley in goal. Okay. Because that's your fault.
Here we go.
Said.
Passing the book already.
Semedo right back, Dawson, Kilman, Totti. So I think he stays with that same back four. I think he sticks with Nunez on the right. Yeah. Neves. Yeah. Moutinho.
Ooh, from the start.
Moutinho from the start. Lamina on the bench.
Okay.
I think he.
Lamina on the bench, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's 4-4-2. How's Lamina going to play?
Okay.
He's not playing the striker, is he?
No,
come on.
I was just waiting to see. I was like, bloody hell, leave Lamina.
Left wing, I will go with Hwang.
He-Chan
Hwang.
He can.
Striker. I think he does Cunha Costa again.
So Cunha Costa, really?
So I think it's very close to the United team, but I think he brings that'll be 2 changes. That'll be Hwang in for Neto, Moutinho in for Lamina.
Interesting. Okay. I think we might see an Adama Traoré, but you never know.
I'm not against that.
No, I'm not against it.
I'm happy with that.
Prediction score?
We said 1-1 on the podcast. So I'm going to stick with that.
Okay. We both said 1-1. A beautiful day. It's a long video because it's gorgeous.
I could stare all day.
We'll see you all Saturday. Molyneux, 3 o'clock. Wolves against Everton. For all the build up on this one, make sure you log on to expressandstar.com.